Doug GOTTLIEB Show here on Fox Sports Radio. And when you're in the presence of somebody who has executed arguably the greatest play in the history of America's biggest sporting event, you just got to sit there and you get goosebumps. David Tyree, kind enough to join us here on the Doug GOTTLIEB Show on Fox Sports Radio. And you're wearing the Super Bowl ring.
Got a little bling.
And obviously there's a lot more to your life and your career than one catch. But this is my thought on like even bands that are one-hit wonders. You know how many bands out there never even had a hit, right? To have one and you had it's I want to discuss the other ones that are in line with it.
Sure.
That the morning of the game.
Yep. Okay?
It's at the same stadium that we're seeing the game at this Sunday. What do you remember about the morning of the game?
Honestly, I mean, that's kind of scattered. Obviously you're suited and booted, you're clean. You show up for breakfast. I've always been a light eater for breakfast. I like to stay hungry on game day. So, I know it's a lot of fueling in sports science these days, but I like to stay hungry. So it's really, you're just locked in. You're in a mission mode, and you're trying to, for me as a guy, as a special teamer, knowing my role, I'm trying to think about how I can impact the game. So I'm thinking about everything as far as receiver assignments to how can I block a punt, how can I beat this wing off the edge, and just lock in and be a impact.
Okay, so when you lock in, do you talk to everybody? Are you quiet? Like, what was your? Because everybody's. Some guys, their way of locking in is to be super loose and to talk to everybody. What was your way of locking in?
Yeah, I'm probably in the middle. I'm probably in the middle of the gap. I'm available as you need me to be. I think I settled into my role with the New York Giants. We had at that time. You got the Michael Strahans, you got the Antonio Pierces. Eli was still kind of emerging as a leader, and he's super quiet anyway. But we had the Amani Toomers and such great. I was that spiritual leader. Everybody knows a lot of people know my turnaround, my change. So I was just available, but I was also, I'm comical, I'm engaged. But on game day, you're here for one reason. And so you can get lost in a lot of things during the Super Bowl week, but we're here for one reason. So the morning you just locked in, get a little grub, and get ready to do the job.
What was the early part of the game like?
Yeah, obviously that was super slow, man. I mean, I got, I'm in the game plan. It was pretty interesting during the week. Obviously, Plexico kind of, re-injured himself. I never had a thought in my mind that he was going to play. But that was kind of a big storyline. But, yeah, slow game, defense playing lights out. And you're just locked in. We knew, obviously, we played them tight. It was a different game, the last game of the season. Offensive games, points scored. And this one was the exact opposite all the way through the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, they were undefeated, but the game that they had the most trouble with was your pass rush, obviously. And that was the year Brady threw 50 touchdown passes with Randy Moss. They're lighting up the world, right?
It was sick insane.
And that game was different. What was the play call? What was the actual play call?
Yeah, it was 76 max Y-cell union, 4 wide receiver set. Jeremy.
Wait. So 76 means what?
76 is your protection.
Okay.
Max means max protection.
Okay.
So we keep the running back in. Y-cell speaks to me and Steve Smith. I'm on a post on the outside. I got Steve Smith's on an out breaking deep out. We call it a sail concept. And then we got 2 in-breaking routes at different levels, probably around 8 and 15 with Amani and Plexico. So it worked out perfect because we actually ran a lot of quarters, we call 42 coverage, cover 4 on one side, 2 on the other. And that's actually, if they get a little cute, we can throw the post over the top. But I just thank God the lineman didn't block anybody because it would have. We're not having the same conversation.
So what's the? I mean, again, it happens so fast.
Sure.
But for you guys, it's a little obviously slower.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know when he's scrambling back there for his life?
Yeah, I'm on a deep post. So at the end of the day, by the time I look back, he's already under duress.
Right.
So now we go scramble drill. If you're deep, you want to come back to your quarterback. So me being out to, I look and I see some green grass toward the middle of the field. So he's under duress. You play the play till the whistle's blown, and I play with a lot of scrambling quarterbacks at Syracuse. So I'm super familiar with a scramble drill.
Sure.
And yeah, I mean, by the time I get to the middle of the field, he kind of pops out, and it was, you just felt like that ball goes up. Now it's really slow. It's chariots of fire slow.
Dun, 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 dun,
yeah, it's Duracell slow. Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. And you're going,
all that.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Was it oh, no, or oh, yes?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I want this, man. Everybody knows I got 4 catches coming into this game. I understood my role, but at the same time, I always felt like I delivered when the lights was on for my team. So, yeah, I go up, I high point it. I know I'm not going to be open long, so mentally I am bracing myself mentally for the contact. So I just knew I had it, didn't know anything else. Bring the sucker down. I do remember kind of putting that second hand back on there, securing it, but I didn't have a clue it was on my head. I had no clue. So yeah, this wasn't quite the helmet, but yeah, it was.
It's pretty special thing.
Yeah.
Did not win you the game, but it was the game-winning touchdown drive. But
Correct.
that play kind of saved the game.
Yeah. It's third down. You don't want to see fourth down on a game-winning drive, right?
No doubt.
Yeah. So third down, and honestly, it's great. You know you make a great play. Literally, this thing happened so fast. I got to get up and see if I'm in the game the next play. I got to see what the personnel group is. No, they actually went three. They went back to 3 wide receivers. I'm like, you douchebags. I'm hot. I'm hot right now. Can't you see it? I'm feeling it. No, it's all good.
What is that feeling like now? Years later, okay? We're like 15 years later.
Yep.
What's that feeling like when you win the Super Bowl? And not just winning a Super Bowl, but you played such a gigantic part in the win.
Yeah, people ask me how I felt. I'm like, man, awe is the only word I could use, AWE. I was just, my mom just passed a month and a half before. My wife is 8 months pregnant. This was like the driest, I'm a special teams guy. I'm used to 20 tackles. I think I had 10 or 12. It was just one of those years where you almost felt like nothing was going before you, but at the same time, there was so much promise. There was things that I felt like that were happening behind the scenes that something special was going to happen this year. And so to actually have a part in it, and have a part, well, when I scored a touchdown, I'm gold. I'm a kid from Jersey, from East Orange, Essex County, Montclair, New Jersey. I have no business here. So I'm thinking that was the miracle right there. And there was far more in store. So I'm in awe.
The coolest part about the celebration, right? Like we see the Eli's, but like for you, your life became a whirlwind.
Sure.
Looking back, what was the coolest part?
Man, the coolest part, like I said, I'm a Jersey boy. So when me and Flavor Flav, this actually came years later. I actually was on Jimmy Kimmel with Flavor Flav right after the Super Bowl. But years later, when the Giants win their second Super Bowl, me and Flav, we kicking it after, I hosted the parade, City Hall with Channel 11, and me and Flav, we just kicked it for the rest of the day. Because I grew up on rap, and so yeah, it's like little candid moments like that where you're appreciated by people that you could never imagine to see, and I'm still that way to this day because I don't have a celebrity bone in my body.
But to steal from Flavor Flav from Public Enemy, how did you not believe the hype, right? Right?
Well, you know what? I'm aware of my story. I knew I wasn't the best wide receiver on the field. But I did believe that I could compete, play at a high level, and contribute. And I think my self-awareness was my superpower as a player, was knowing how to get in the league as a special teams player, knowing that I could do more as a wide receiver, but if I dropped one ball, I knew that was 3 drops in the eyes of the coaches. So that was my superpower. But I also believed that I could be more than just a special teams player. And I think that speaks to every athlete at every level and what their goals are to do something significant.
All right. It's known as the greatest catch in the history of Super Bowl. I would actually tell you that the Julio catch when they lost was as good a catch as I've ever seen.
Sure.
In that same game, of course, the Edelman catch is the one that everybody points to.
No doubt.
Which is amazing. And It has some similar aspects to yours because yours was caught against the helmet, right?
Yep.
And his was caught where, it's bobbled around or whatever.
Wow. Yeah.
Santonio Holmes doesn't have the spectacular variety, but game-winning catch in the end zone, kind of a layered throw from Big Ben was pretty spectacular. How do you handle it when people start comparing catches? You're like, I got the greatest catch. How do you handle that emotionally?
I've been in the sidelines quiet, so I'm a little more vocal these days. I think that my catch is the standard. I think at the end of the day, that's the standard by which all catches are measured against. And mostly because it is the TV era, although it's not social media era. But at the end of the day, it's the storyline. It's like what most of those guys won't get. I don't think I have the best catch as a standalone. I think when you look at catches like Odell's or Justin Jefferson this year, there's some ridiculous as a standalone.
But what about in a standalone in the Super Bowl?
I think it's the best.
Yeah,
I think the helmet catch is the best. But I do believe they deserve to be in the conversation. I said maybe me, myself, Santonio, and Edelman, I think we should get a catch coalition or something like that. We got
definitely should be a sponsorship ad. There's got to be some sort of sponsorship.
I've been waiting. I'm like I said, I've been.
This just takes creative marketing team to realize, some sort of catch is a parallel to something else. You have your own podcast.
I do. Catch the Moment podcast. Everybody subscribe on all platforms, please.
So, but in it, what's the what is it about?
Yeah, I'm into everybody's journey to their moment of success, man. Like everybody's got pain points, they've got challenges they've overcome. So even somebody like yourself, man, you're doing great in media. Well, how'd you get there? It wasn't just this this beautiful road to success.
Sure.
So ultimately, that's where it's about. It's I like to celebrate and elevate. I think humans are dope. Not just athletes, not just celebrities. I think people who contribute and are determined to do something successful, but success is relative. So that's what it's all about.
I think that's amazing. It's interesting. I have a podcast called All Ball. It's more basketball focused. I also do football as well, but it's the same thing. People's journeys are amazing. The hardest time for you, and it's interesting because, as you point out, you are a special teams player.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting, when you deal with high school and college kids, they think the way to make it, right, is simply running routes and being able to create space.
Yep.
But look, dude, when you get on a team, you got to play special teams.
Yeah.
It's like running backs.
That's it.
It ain't just about running the football. Now it's about catching the football. You also got to do pass pro as well. What was the hardest of your journey? Mm-hmm. What was the hardest moment?
I think the hardest moment was I won the third wide receiver position my third year in the NFL. And, like I said, the chemistry, Eli was still growing. There wasn't the chemistry, and I wasn't a sexy wide receiver. And I think after about 4 or 5 games, they put the sexy guy in with the Lamborghini and the engine. And that was hard. That was hard because for somebody like myself coming in, not even on a draft radar, knowing that I had everything, to just have it taken away from you, it sucked. And then then at the same time, I go make All Pro that same year. So it's kind of like bittersweet because. They the business side is it's easy to devalue. Hey, you know what? Let's just have him do one thing. We can keep his money down. But ultimately, it helped me look within instead of create reasons and excuses to not be better. Help me say, you know what? I'm going to be committed to my craft. I'm going to have a better attitude. I'm going to trust God that the cards are going to be laid out. So when the helmet catch happens, those are the moments that I went toward because although they didn't want me, there were some things that was appointed for me. And that was probably the toughest part in my career. Losing mom in the middle of a Super Bowl run, it was tough. But yeah, that was something where you gave your training camp off season here, and my coaches believed in me, and it's just like we're gonna go another direction. And so yeah, there's some tough moments, and I think that's what life is all about. You got to build a strong foundation. That's what special teams in football is about. It's about foundational football. That's actually what we did with the catch camp this weekend here in Arizona. So it's everything, and that's what I want to share with this next gen athlete.
Well, it's been amazing to spend some time with you. Obviously doing great things for the pod. Welcome back to a place where you have legendary status, not just the Super Bowl, but obviously here in Arizona. And thanks for joining us on Fox Sports Radio.
Appreciate it.